The European Union Ghana Agriculture Program under the 11th Development Fund supports Ghana's agri modernization by addressing some key constraints. Now, there are many aspects of this project. One of this is called capacity building. They provide scholarships to close to 20, this is 19 students at various levels, MPhil, PhD, and that kind of thing. And this morning, I'm going to speak to two beneficiaries of this capacity building that the EU's project has done, together with the man who oversees cooperation for the EU and the research institution that supervises these scholarships. So essentially, there's going to be a big graduation tomorrow, or the day, tomorrow. The International Water Management Institute and the EU delegation will host a students' graduation event on the theme Building Capacity of the Next Generation for Climate Resilient Development. Now, this is at the University of Ghana. And some of the graduates and the beneficiaries of the research grants are here to talk to us about what they've learned from the project. So I have Nashiratu Dauda. She is an MPhil student in Migration Studies, University of Ghana. Nashiratu, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
I also have Miss Esther Darimani. I like the way you spell your Darimani.
Yes.
MPhil in Development Studies, SD Dombo University in Wa. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you.
I also have Mr. Mina Massimo, who is the head of cooperation for the EU delegation in Ghana. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And last but not least, I have Dr. William Kwame, Regional Research Development Economist, International Water Management Institute. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
Let me start with the students. So let me come to Nashiratu. Tell me about the research you did. What are some of the key takeaways and how it can transform our country?
Right. Thank you so much, Bernard. My research was, I assessed the climate change, migration, and food security within the context of social transformation. Because if you look at our society, it is very much a system. And therefore, everything around us affects everything. And so if you look at the concept of climate change in the northern part of Ghana, especially where my study was, that's Upper West region, I looked at the Lambusia district, specifically some two communities, Bangon and then Hinneton.
Okay.
Sorry, I may not pronounce it.
I mentioned Lambusia
well
today on show.
Yes,
on a different
we overheard
subject.
you when we were out there.
Yeah.
Yes, so if you look at the studies carried out in these two communities representing the area, climate change is very much actually happening. And this is evident in the impacts that are being observed in the area. And then this is actually corroborated by some of the data I picked from what I took from Ghana Meteorological Agency, talking about how the rainfall pattern has changed over there. The temperature conditions have actually changed, because if you look at it in the past, like 10 years, that's the past decade, the highest temperature recorded in the area was actually in the last decade. That is 39.3 degrees Celsius.
Wow.
However, you could also see that the highest rainfall recorded within the area was also equally seen in the last decade. That is over 1,000 millimeters in that particular area. But here's the thing. The rainfall pattern is actually erratic, as observed. In this case, what that means is that farmers cannot actually plan with what is actually happening, because sometimes it comes very heavily, sometimes it comes slightly. So you cannot really plan with this, because we all know that in the northern part of Ghana, their livelihood is very much dependent on
rain-fed agriculture.
Exactly, exactly. And so if you have rainfall patterns where they cannot rely on, eventually it causes drought along the way, and then it affects very much their agricultural livelihood. And so looking at it as a way of adaptation, we all know migration has very much been with us all this while, especially if you talk about northern Ghana migration, it has always been with us. However, migration has increased in the last decade because of the impacts of climate change.
I see.
Because if you look at it, when I was even carrying out my research, as I'm sitting down there asking questions, you find cars are just passing by as though they are just announcing everybody who is ever ready to come and sit down and let's go.
Let's move to Accra.
Let's move to Accra.
So it was happening right under your doorstep.
Right under my nose, so to speak. That's how we
So
always
some of the
say it in
migration
Ghana.
is instigated by the climate change, because if they don't have good harvests, they have no work to do. They have to come and do.
Exactly.
So there's a relationship between climate resilience and migration.
Exactly.
And you establish that very clearly.
Exactly.
So that if they were sort of things to intervene in their rainfall, they would not be coming down in droves like that.
In droves, that's the
So you
word.
clearly established that link.
That's the word, because it's most likely that some people may still actually want to migrate. However, it can actually reduce the numbers, because it's not everybody who may actually want to migrate. They have established that very clearly.
So it's a serious push factor.
It's a serious push factor. Serious push factor.
Wow.
Because if you notice, and in fact, one thing that I also noticed was that it has actually also increased women migration.
Because-
This was something that
yeah.
was very much on the low. However, women are now being able to migrate, and the men have no say. So you realize that the issue of climate change has also, in a way, changed gender norms.
Wow.
Because men have started accepting the fact that women need to also migrate in order to come back and contribute to
Wow.
the welfare
So
of
that
the
was
home.
quite a far-reaching study.
Yes.
Your study, what was your study?
Mine was on gender and climate change adaptation.
Is it in the same area?
Yeah, similar to what she said.
Was it in Lambuse or wherever?
Mine was in Laura District.
Laura
in the
District.
Municipality, sorry.
Which is further up in the Upper West region.
Yes,
I see. So what do you suppose the best lesson you've learned, or how was your capacity built under this project? What did you benefit?
Okay, we had a lot of trainings organized for us to build our knowledge in the area of climate change, resilience, and then social transformation. Mind you, we are within the university system as well, so we get the university training as well. But with the scholarship, we were given funds in supporting our studies, stipends, and then even the research that we did was taken care of. So that's what I'll say about that. Yes.
Wonderful. Let me come to Mr. Massimo. So this EU Ghana Agric program, we are told it's played a crucial role in supporting agri development in Ghana. So what motivated the EU to invest in building research and academic capacity?
Yeah, thank you first of all for receiving us. I have to say that the European Union is very committed to investing in research and academic capacity,
Okay.
because we think that really we believe that knowledge and innovation are the key drivers of sustainable development. And with projects like this one, Social Transformation Research, which is part of a much broader Ghana agricultural program, we support the development of policies which are informed by rigorous, solid scientific research, which are also tailored to the specific needs of the local communities. And if we want a more inclusive planning of the climate resilience policies, we need research which looks at the interconnection between these societal changes and climate vulnerabilities.
We know EU is very big on sustainable agric. I know this personally because when I traveled to the WTO, we're told that a lot of the positive agric policies are EU pushed. So EU is very strong on sustainable agric, sustainable farming, climate resilience. So how did the scholarship align with this overall objective? Because the scholarship is a very small thing for one or two people. How does it align with the overall strategy for sustainable agric?
Yeah, it's a very good point. I would say that by investing in education and research, the European Union contributes to the development of a skills workforce, and that can drive the innovation in the policy making. So also it's very important to understand that the European Union approach is, we call it integrated. Integrated because it includes, is part of a much wider program to transform the development in northwest of Ghana. And it includes support to farmers, agricultors, small and medium enterprises, but also to a government, national and local level. And the program also includes as a very important element on infrastructure. We know how important is infrastructure for economic development, notably road infrastructure. So there was a lot of feeder roads, farm roads, rehabilitation, and also new construction, and also an irrigation scheme.
Wow.
So this is really to complete this part on research and education, completes these
No,
very broad
it's
policy.
very interesting to have an agric program with a far-reaching project in scholarships, even infrastructure. I think that's quite brilliant. Let me come to the project now. So you know there's the Ghana Agric program,
yes.
under which there are many projects. Now
Yes.
the REACH-STR project is the project that has birthed these beautiful researchers. Tell me about the project and how it helped these students achieve their goals.
All right. So resilience against climate change. That's what REACH means.
Okay.
Okay, and the STR is social transformation research.
Oh, okay.
So basically, for the European Union Agricultural Program, they are doing market-oriented agriculture, infrastructure projects like roads, irrigation systems. Okay, all these projects will create transformation in society. All right, men will benefit differently, women will benefit differently.
Correct.
We need people to do the research for this, and so that is what the REACH-STR project is about.
Now, beyond the graduation, they are graduating tomorrow, right?
Yes, they are.
And there are 19 of them.
Yes, 19.
From various universities.
Yes.
Nicely. Now, how does the institute that you work for, IMWI, plan to engage these scholars beyond the project? Or you finish the project, get your award, bye-bye.
And that's it.
Or you have a relationship with them.
First, you need to understand that International Water Management Institute is one of 14 international agricultural organizations in the world.
Wonderful.
It's a conglomerate. It's called CGIAR.
Okay.
Okay. And we focus mainly on water resource management. Okay. So our research for development is about agricultural water resource management, surface water, groundwater. Okay. And we also do a lot of capacity building.
Correct.
Okay. And so what we have done is that first, for these students, apart from the scholarship, we gave them soft skills. Okay. So we have trained them consistently how to write, how to organize yourself for the job market, etc. And then we have employed some of them.
Wonderful.
Some of them work for us as interns, some as consultants, some as assistants. Okay, and over the research period, that's what we have been doing. Esther here, for instance, is our intern. Nashirata does some things for us, etc.
So it's work, research, integrated.
Exactly.
Everything is integrated in this thing. The program, the project,
very much
even
so.
the interview is integrated.
Very much. And here's the best part. For our master's degree students, 2 of them are already gone abroad to have their PhD, and they are working still on social services or social systems. So it's kind of...
This is very interesting. So I'm sure PhD is on the horizon.
Of course.
For both
Yes,
of
for
you.
the 2 of them, yes.
What key lessons have you learned from and I'm sure there will be good EU universities willing to take you up.
Yes, of
so that's another
Yes,
component.
that's another component.
Yeah, I'm very
yes.
happy to talk about our Erasmus program.
Correct.
Yes,
Which
Erasmus
is the
program,
largest EU program for mobility of students.
Correct.
It's very broad. It's education, training, but also sport and youth.
Okay.
And there have been more than 1,000 students from Ghana
Wow.
who have benefited in the last 20 plus years.
So you plan to be an Erasmus scholar one day.
They should be.
It's
actually.
a very important EU scholarship. Let me end with you. What lessons have you learned from implementing this scholarship, particularly from a developmental perspective? Because there are ways in which you can do something just to say, I've finished.
Yeah.
But the way this is such a broad-based, what lessons can it provide for even development interventions in the future, do you think?
So the whole idea is that for whatever development intervention you are doing, for sustainability's sake, you need to train people, you need to build a capacity of people, especially the next generation,
Correct.
who can pick the ideas and move on. Myself, I'm a product of this kind of capacity building, and I am working like this. But one of the lessons that you learn is that there are skills in the universities, there are students needing support. So if you can bring partnerships, university, donors, students together, then we can collectively generate the ideas we need to push Ghana forward. That's how
Amazing. I wish I had more time. We don't have.
We just want to thank the EU, UMI, and then Professor Te of the and then Dr. Setrena. These are people who played a key role in our journey thus far.
Thank
so
you
so much.
Thank you, Nashiratu. Thank you, Esther. Thank you, Dr. Kwame. Thank you, Mr.